My name is Maria J. Campos, and I am 29 years old. I am a software consultant based in Austin, Texas. I work remotely for a fintech startup, make around $140,000 a year, and live a life most people would probably call comfortable. Not rich, not flashy, just stable. I have always been the type to keep my head down, work hard, save money, and stay far away from unnecessary chaos. My friends call me boring. I call it being smart. I drive a decent car, live in a nice apartment, and have about $80,000 saved. I do not need to prove anything to strangers online, and I do not measure my life by who is watching. Then I met Lucas Mercer. He was 26, worked in marketing for a wellness brand, and had the kind of energy that could pull an entire room toward him. Confident, attractive, always dressed like he had somewhere better to be later. He had thick, dark hair, a sharp smile, and this effortless way of making people feel chosen for 5 minutes at a time. We met at a mutual friend's barbecue 8 months ago. I was standing near the cooler, trying to avoid small talk, when he walked up and asked what I did for work. Most people's eyes glaze over He laughed at my dry jokes, asked thoughtful questions, and by the end of the night, we had exchanged numbers. The first few months were good. Really good. We met twice a week, grabbed dinner, watched movies, drove around Austin at night listening to music, and talked about everything and nothing. Lucas talked about his dreams constantly, traveling the world, starting his own agency, living a life full of experiences. I admired that. He was not content with just existing, but there was always something underneath it, a hunger for validation. Instagram stories every other day, checking likes before the food even got cold, mentioning people from work who were doing better, earning more, dressing sharper, living bigger. I ignored it at first. Everyone has flaws. Nobody comes without complicated corners. Around the 4th month, things shifted. Lucas started mentioning other women casually. This woman at work bought me coffee today. My ex-girlfriend texted me, but I did not reply. Some girl from the gym said I looked different. At first, I thought he was being transparent. Then I realized he was watching my face every time he said it, waiting to see if I would flinch. I did not. I am not the jealous type, and I refuse to beg someone to respect me. But the comments became comparisons. Derek just booked his girlfriend a weekend in Napa. Connor is already talking about engagement rings. Brandon got promoted and bought a new BMW. I would shrug, but inside, I was getting tired. I made good money, but I was not about to blow it trying to compete with men who were performing romance for an audience. I was saving for a house, for a future, for something real. One night in early October, we had dinner at an Italian place Lucas loved. He spent 20 minutes taking photos of his pasta before eating it. Then he looked at me and said, "Sometimes I wonder if we are moving too slow." "What do you mean? We have been together for 6 months and we are still just dating. Nothing has really changed." "What do you want to change?" He shrugged. "I do not know. It just feels like we are stuck." I did not know what to say. I thought we were fine. Good, even. Apparently, I was the only one standing still in a relationship he had started measuring against everyone else's highlight reel. 2 weeks ago, Lucas invited me to his coworker's birthday party at a rooftop bar downtown. I was not thrilled. I hate crowded places, loud music, and drunk people shouting over each other, but he had been asking for days. "It will be fun," he said. "You need to get out more. You cannot just work and stay home all the time." I showed up around 8 p.m. on Saturday. The place was packed, music blasting, string lights overhead, bartenders shaking cocktails, groups of people laughing too loudly against the skyline. Lucas was already there with his coworkers. He introduced me to a few of them, Sarah from graphic design and Tim from accounts. They seemed nice enough, but Lucas was distracted. His eyes kept moving across the room like he was looking for someone. About an hour in, he went to get a drink. I stayed near the railing, watching the city lights. When I looked up, he was talking to a woman near the bar. Tall, beautiful, sleek black dress. glossy hair, the kind of confidence that made people move aside without realizing it. They were laughing too much. Then he started dancing with her. Her hands slid onto his shoulders. His hands found her waist. They moved together in the middle of the floor like I was not standing 20 feet away. I watched for a minute, trying to decide if I was overreacting. Then Lucas looked directly at me. He did not pull away. He smirked. I walked over, calm, not aggressive. "Hey, can we talk for a second?" Lucas turned, still smiling. "What's up? You good?" "You've been over here for a while." He rolled his eyes. "Oh my God, relax. I'm just dancing." The woman beside him looked uncomfortable and stepped away toward the bar. "I'm not trying to start anything," I said. "I'm checking in." Lucas laughed. Actually laughed. "You know what, Maria? I also have the right to have my options." The music was loud, but I heard him perfectly. A few people turned to look. I stared at him, feeling my chest tighten and my jaw lock, but I refused to give him a scene. I refused to become the jealous girlfriend he could mock later. So I nodded once. "All right, cool." Then I turned, walked straight to the exit, grabbed my car keys from the valet, and drove home without looking back. My phone kept buzzing the entire way. "Wait, come back." "I didn't mean it like that. You're overreacting." At a red light, I looked at the screen one time, then set the phone face down. When I got home, I blocked his number. Then Instagram, Snapchat. Everything. He had options. And so did I. I thought that was the end of it. I really did. I figured Lucas would be embarrassed for a day or two. Maybe tell his friends I was too sensitive, then move on to the next woman who made him feel exciting. He had options, right? He had said it himself, in front of a rooftop full of strangers. But at 3:17 a.m., I woke up to pounding on my apartment door. Not knocking. Pounding. It was loud enough to make my heart slam awake before my eyes fully opened. My apartment was on the second floor of a quiet complex, the kind where people complain if someone drags a trash bag down the stairs too loudly after 10. Whoever was outside wanted the entire hallway to know something was happening. I grabbed my phone and checked the peephole. Lucas. His hair was a mess. His eyes were red and swollen, his shirt was wrinkled, and his face looked like he had been crying for hours. The confidence from the rooftop was gone. The man outside my door looked broken, but I had already learned that broken people can still be dangerous when they want access to you. "Maria!" he yelled. "Open the door!" "Please. I need to talk to you." I stepped back. No way. I was not opening my door at 3 a.m. for a man who had humiliated me in public and then decided my boundaries were inconvenient. I sat on the couch, arms crossed, waiting for him to leave. "I know you're in there," he called. "Please, just let me explain." He kept banging. He kept saying my name. At one point, I heard a door down the hall open, then close again quickly. Nobody wanted to get involved, and honestly, I did not blame them. After 10 minutes, the pounding stopped. I thought he had finally left. Then I heard his voice again, lower this time, broken. "She's pregnant." My body went still. "She's pregnant, Maria, and she says it might be mine." For a second, I could not breathe. I walked back to the door and pressed my ear against it. I could hear him sobbing on the other side. "Go home, Lucas," I said through the door. "We are not doing this right now." "I'm serious," he cried. "She told me yesterday. I did not know how to tell you. That is why I was acting weird at the party. I was scared. I did not know what to do. I did not open the door. I did not fully believe him either. It sounded too convenient, too dramatic, like a confession designed to force me back into a conversation I had already refused. But I could not ignore it, because if he was telling the truth, everything had just become much uglier. "If that is true," I said, keeping my voice steady, "we will talk tomorrow, in public. Go home. Please open the door. I do not want to be alone right now." "Lucas, I am not opening the door. Go home. We will talk when you are sober, and it is not the middle of the night." Silence. Then footsteps. A few minutes later, I heard his car start and drive away. I sat back down on the couch and stared at the wall until sunrise. Pregnant. Another woman was pregnant, and Lucas had come to my door after dancing with her like I was the problem. My mind kept circling the same questions. Was he lying? Was he being manipulated? Was this baby really his? And if it was, what kind of future had I almost stepped into? At 9 a.m., I unblocked his number. 15 messages appeared, sent between 3:30 and 7 a.m. Most were apologies. Some begged me to meet. One said, "I swear I did not know before yesterday." I texted back, "We need to talk. Coffee. Noon. Public place." He replied within seconds, "Thank you. I'll be there. I'm sorry." We met at a Starbucks near downtown. Neutral ground. Bright lights. People everywhere. Lucas walked in wearing gray sweatpants, an oversized hoodie, and no trace of the polished image he usually protected so carefully. He looked exhausted. He sat across from me, hands wrapped around a paper cup. "I'm sorry," he said immediately. "About the party. About what I said. I was drunk and stupid and scared." "Who is pregnant?" he swallowed. "Her name is Alyssa. She works with Brandon, the guy from the party. I met her at a work thing 3 weeks ago." My stomach tightened. "You met her?" His eyes filled with tears. "Maria, answer me." He looked down. "I slept with her." The air between us changed. For a moment, every sound in the coffee shop disappeared. Cups clinking, machines hissing, people talking. Gone. I stared at him. "So the woman at the party was not random?" "No. I mean, I did not know she would be there. Brandon knows her too. It was complicated." I laughed once, but there was no humor in it. Complicated is when two people have different schedules. This is not complicated. This is betrayal. He flinched. "She told me yesterday she is pregnant," he said. "She thinks it might be mine, but she does not know for sure. The timing lines up with me and with her ex-boyfriend." "And your first instinct was to dance with another woman in front of me and tell me you have options?" His face crumpled. "I panicked. I thought if I pushed you away first, it would hurt less when everything came out. That is not panic, Lucas. That is cowardice." He started crying then, quietly, wiping his face with the sleeve of his hoodie. A month ago, I would have reached across the table. I would have comforted him. I would have made his guilt easier to carry. "Not this time. If the baby is yours," I said, "you need to be responsible. But we are done. I am not staying with you. I am not helping you rewrite this into some tragic misunderstanding." He nodded, tears falling. "I understand." "No, you do not," I said. "But you will." I stood up, grabbed my keys, and left him sitting there with his untouched coffee. The next 2 months were the strangest months of my life. Nothing looked different from the outside. I still woke up at the same time. I still made coffee in the same kitchen. I still logged into work, answered emails, joined video calls, and nodded at people discussing product timelines, like my life had not been split open by one sentence outside my apartment door. But inside, everything was noise. Lucas texted me once a week with updates. Not emotional essays anymore, just information. Like he finally understood I was not available for comfort. "Alyssa had an appointment today. She is feeling sick, but okay. They said the timeline is still uncertain. She is looking into an early DNA test." I responded with 1 or 2 words. "Okay. Thanks. Keep me updated." I was not going to be cruel. If there was a child involved, I needed to know. But I also was not going to pretend we were two scared lovers facing a crisis together. We were not. He had betrayed me, humiliated me, and then dragged me into the consequences of a choice I had never made. Telling my parents was brutal. My mother cried quietly at the kitchen table, one hand over her mouth. My father sat across from me, silent for a long time. Finally he asked, "Are you sure the baby might be his? That is what he says." And are you sure he deserves your involvement before there is proof? I looked down at my hands. No, but if the baby is his, the child deserves better than all of this. My father nodded once. He did not push. That was his way of saying he understood more than he wanted to. My closest friends, Jasmine and Renee, were supportive, but even they did not know what to say. There are some disasters people can comfort you through. There are others they can only sit beside. Therapy helped. My therapist did not make dramatic faces or tell me what to do. She listened while I admitted the ugliest parts, that I was relieved every time Lucas's name did not appear on my phone, that I hated Alyssa, even though I had never met her, that I hated myself for caring, that some tiny, stupid part of me still remembered the first version of Lucas and wondered where he had gone. He may not have gone anywhere, she said gently. This may also be who he was. That sentence stayed with me for days. 3 weeks ago, Lucas called. I almost let it go to voicemail, but something about the hour made me answer. Maria, he said. His voice sounded different, calmer, smaller. Can we meet? I have the results. My stomach dropped. We met at the same Starbucks downtown. The symmetry felt cruel. Same tables, same smell of burnt espresso, same window looking out at people walking by with normal lives. Lucas was already there when I arrived. He looked thinner. Not better exactly, just worn down. His hands were folded around a cup he had not touched. It is not mine, he said before I even sat down. For a moment, I felt nothing. Then relief hit me so hard I almost laughed. Not because anything was funny, but because my body had been holding its breath for 2 months and had finally remembered how to exhale. It is Brandon's, Lucas continued. Alyssa's ex-boyfriend. The timing made more sense with him, but she was not sure. He knows now. He is stepping up. They are figuring it out. I nodded slowly. Good. He looked at me like he expected more. Anger. Tears. Forgiveness. Something he could respond to. But all I felt was distance. I am sorry, he said, for everything. You were good to me, Maria. You were steady. You were honest. And I treated that like it was not enough because I was too immature to understand what it was. I looked at him across the table, at the man who had once made me feel exciting just by choosing me, and realized I no longer wanted to be chosen by him. You did not just make one mistake, I said. You built a pattern and called it confusion. His eyes filled with tears. I know. No, Lucas, I do not think you do. But I hope one day you do. I stood up. He reached for my hand, then stopped himself before touching me. Will you ever talk to me again? I looked at him for a long second. No. Then I left. I have not spoken to Lucas since that day. I heard through the friend who introduced us that Alyssa and Brandon are trying to make it work. I deleted that friend from social media too. Not out of hatred. Out of survival. I did not need updates about a life that almost swallowed mine by accident. As for me, I am doing better. Work, gym, quiet dinners, nights out with friends who do not make me feel replaceable. I deleted every photo. Blocked every remaining connection. I even changed coffee shops, because peace sometimes starts with small decisions nobody else understands. Sometimes I still hear Lucas's voice from that rooftop. I also have the right to have my options. Maybe he did. But I had the right to walk away. I had the right to protect myself. I had the right not to be someone's safe place while he chased chaos. No regrets.